Hello, in today's episode we're going to discuss the Messiah complex and that mental illness of perceiving oneself as the chosen one and how this can arise through meditation. Now, in regards to the increasing skill, the increasing unity as one progresses on the path with the macrocosm, and of course the spirit sense awakening and the third eye opening, all this stuff that allows for perception of greater cosmic union. This can, when looked at from the space of our lower or lowest identity, we start to have this experience, then this goes, that is mine. And it tries to encapsulate it and own it. And this is a major error as we progress. So that said, there are some underlying positive things we can learn from the Messiah complex type of error that can occur. So firstly, you have alignment. Everything comes together and you have maximum alignment, right? Alignment of body, of energy, and emotion, and of thought, or in some systems of body, speech, and mind is what they might say. So when you have that alignment, that amplifies power, right? And this can be a very useful tool because part of the path is aligning all of your bodies together to support and be a conduit for the inspired light, right? The light of the spirit, for that to be a conduit, and those align and that light can flow through. So there's a positive aspect to coming into this deep alignment internally, the internal alignment. However, what we are aligned to is important, and in this case, if you are aligned to your own delusions of separative grandeur, then that can cause a lot of harm. Now, along with this alignment comes incredible power of faith, of belief, and that total coherent conviction, which can create a huge amount of magnetism around yourself, in the environment, around the people. So you become a charismatic magnet because of the alignment. Not in any way because of the quality of the alignment, but simply because of the alignment. And this is where all kinds of, cultish type things arise, whether it's alignment to a dietary view, or alignment to a religious view, or alignment to an exercise view, or blah, blah, blah. This coherence is very, very appealing because anyone who is feeling lost or unsure, anyone who is of weaker coherence finds a lot of support in falling into greater coherence of someone who is fully aligned. Now, another aspect of this is permission, right? We all, in different ways, hold ourselves back and supply barriers for ourselves where we go, okay, once these conditions have been met, then, the obvious one, then I can be happy. Once these conditions have been met, then I can ascend to my highest spiritual potential. These permissions can be their environmental conditions within and around us, right? And these can be things like, becoming ordained and being a monk, or meditate in a cave for 12 years, or once I've achieved these particular experiences in the spiritual domain that I've always sought, then, I will have permission to release and ascend. Maybe it's certifications or permissions of lineage. You get validation from lineage holders as to your skill in whatever the art might be. You can insert a million things here. How and in what ways do we require permission from ourselves and the environment to ascend to our highest spiritual potential? So when we are fully aligned, there is a type of permission there. If you think you're the chosen one, you have permission to do that, but you also have permission, to engage in a lot of atrocious activity, separative activity that is domineering and dangerous to everyone around you and yourself, because from that standpoint, every action you engage in is you're just the glove acting out the hand of divinity. And this, when attached to and believed from a little miniature three-dimensional human being whose identity is of that little thing, that's a lot of bad stuff that can come from it. So think like any cult leader, basically. Now, so let's look at some controversy? No, the hypocrisy within this. So, for starters, to perceive oneself as chosen or special in any way is an indication of absolutely pathological blockage. It is an indication that you have not actually found union with any macrocosm whatsoever. You are very much not in union with that, or you wouldn't have. How could you be special? How could you be chosen if you have actually realized a level or layer of oneness with infinity? It's a total hypocrisy there. So, if I am chosen, I have not realized the essence of Akashic unity. If I worship at the altar of separation through perceiving myself as special and different, you have not realized the essence of Akashic unity, of macrocosmic unity. If I have no understanding of myself beyond this little entrapped compartment of myself that is special, once again, there is no understanding because there's no actual macrocosmic connection. There's no compassion. The heart is closed. The centers are closed. How can you have realized macrocosmic unity and have a bunch of centers that are closed and separate? The visions of the constrained vision, which allows one to harm everything and anything. This is a finite view that knows it's right, which it is not. A finite view that knows it's right, thinking that this finite view is everything, is infinity. You have not released and found equalization with the Akasha if this is a view that's going through you. So you have these delusions of grandeur, and they inflate you with self-importance. You experience yourself as one with infinity, but you haven't actually experienced that because you're identifying as a little thing that owns infinity. So I can't repeat this anymore, but I think it's kind of hopefully getting to a duh type of moment in your head. This is a logical fallacy. And, how can you recognize the magic of the universe in a grain of sand? This will always elude you if you are chosen, if you are a Messiah, if you are separate, because you are the only magic. There is no universe, there is no grain of sand, it's just your own illusion that you pedestalized. So as we pursue this orientation towards truth and we're looking at realization, truer realization, it humbles us beyond words. It's a humility that it's indescribable. And from this comes a tender-hearted devotion and reverence with to everything, to a type of service. That tender-hearted giving, how you see the world changes, and as you see the world differently, the world changes. Now we become, or we are destroyed in this. So as the realization process is evolving, you're disappearing. And this is a very painful process, which is why humility is baked into it. Humility serves a function to empty us of ourselves. Devotion serves a function as we become devoted to that infinite luminous emptiness that creates a magnetic alignment, in a sense. Through this, there's a reverent sacredness to the silence and stillness that is of that. All this activity of believing oneself to be a Messiah and chosen and special, it can't exist in that space, right? Those don't exist together. The infinity defabricates that, which is why if that's there, it's a very good indication that that person has not found anything that they are preaching to have found. Inner authority is a wonderful thing. However, inner authority is also a bunch of BS when it is being parodied, or when it's wearing the mask of spiritual authority. Because spiritual authority comes from Akashic realization and a long-term, sincere equalization with the infinity qualities of emptiness and refined light and consciousness. Not from inner authority, thinking to yourself, I know best. It comes from not having a thing that is thinking that, right? It's not about relative truth. It's about resolution with emptiness, resolution with light through the Akashic bridge. So in this sense, you can't really go through an innocent Messiah phase. Innocence is the opposite of that. Any identity inflated by a brief experience of macrocosmic union, or we could say a reflection, an illusory and delusion-inducing reflection of macrocosmic union, is by definition not macrocosmically unified. So we want to acknowledge this and look at ourselves in the practice as we go through these evolutions, as the senses start to open, as the spirit senses awaken, as the energy centers open, as the energy increases, as perception starts to change dramatically, as different cities or powers start to arise. In who or what are these things arising? And what types of peculiar attachments are we developing to an identity that has these? Be sincere, be honest in your equalization with infinity. Everything else defabricates. You can't have both. So if you are, you can't have two, you can't have two, you know, if you're, if you're preaching infinity. It encompasses all of it. So be very, very aware of this as it might arise in yourself through practice, and then we can bypass this, this blockage from slowing us down on our path of ascension. If you're interested in training, please check out the courses and workshops, details on the website, and hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed this. Have fun. Practice. Bye.